when you are taking the earth as a complete object, 70% is covered with ocean. Whatever existing in ocean ecosystem will impact more. When we are looking into forest, total how much percentage of land is there in biosphere? 20+% of land is available. In that you have 33% of forest cover. Out of total land, only 33% of forest is there. So whatever animals, biotic and abiotic components are very less when you compare to ocean ecosystem. Majority of the species are existing in ocean ecosystem. So you have to understand this ecosystem in order to not changing the equilibrium of the ocean. Now, this is the most largest ecosystem. Around 71% of the planets is covered with ocean ecosystem, and they are covered with horizontal differentiation is there, vertical differentiation is there. Now you see differentiation in the sense you have some structure. In particular distance you can see some living beings and species. It will not go to another side. Photic is covered with sunlight. If you go deeper beyond this stage, you called aphotic zone. What is aphotic zone is the sunlight will not penetrate inside. So even ocean is being divided into different structure. In this place you can see blue shark, turtle, phytoplankton and zooplankton. One is producer, one is primary consumer. Plants are producers or consumers? Producers. Here you see phytoplankton. You cannot see plants more in the ocean. Where you can see plants, coral leaves, etc. You can see small vegetations in ocean. These are available in this place only. You can see this horizontal place. This is called intertidal zone. And here you can see tides. If you go deep into the ocean, tides will not be existing in this range. This pelagic realm, you don't have any tides. Only at this place you have tides. This is called intertidal zone. At the surface of the ocean you will be having tides. This is called continental shelf. What do you mean by continental shelf is you can see more number of plants, living beings will be staying here. Why? Because all the resources of the ocean will be carried and stored here between these places, so that you can see coral plants, coral leaves. In most of the documentaries you can see this kind of plants. Have you heard this name continental shelf? Continental shelf is you will be having a deep vertical trench. This is called continental shelf. After photic zone you have twilight zone. What do you mean by twilight zone is here you don't have complete sunlight. If you dive into deep, you will be having a partial slight glare will be there. You cannot see the object. Some light is there. Twilight will be there. So here you can see sea pen. These are the types of biotic organism. Sponges, according to its length 1 centimeter to 1 meter, you can see this species. Octopus majorly live in this zone. They don't like to habitat in photic zone. That means sunlight. In sunlight you cannot see. If you want octopus, you have to dive deep to twilight zone. So it will be available in 200 to 1000 meter. If you dive deeper from 1000 to 4000 meter, you can see different species called sea spider and brittle star, etc. So you can see different species. This is called benthic zone of the ocean. Yes. You have several biotic and abiotic component of ocean, which I will discuss one by one. In forest ecosystem, you have temperature, but in ocean, you will be having only lesser temperature. You will be not having higher temperature. When you compare forest, there you had moisture content. Do you have moisture content in sea? Sea is completely covered with the water. Here you don't have any moisture content. So you will be having different parameter. What are they? Salinity, saltness. Amount of saltness is a parameter. According to that, different species will be there. Different species and different zones will be there. Extreme pH level, UV radiation, these are all called abiotic component. Water will be varying according to temperature and salinity. If you go deeper into the ocean, you will be having less temperature. If you go to the topmost surface of the ocean, you will be having higher temperature. This is called temperature, salinity, pressure. If you dive deep into the ocean, water pressure will be there, isn't it? So, if you are diving deep, you should have a suit so that the water pressure will not make you feel discomfort. Without a suit, you are diving into the ocean, blood starts to flow in all the ears, nose, etc. Why? Because that much of pressure will be there. Have you dived deep into the swimming pool or some river? If you are diving deep into it, you will be not seeing light. Have anyone experienced? If you dive deep, you cannot hear. At the surface level only, if you dive, you can hear something. You cannot see. Light will be there. This is critical for photosynthesis. Producers create food by using this component called photosynthesis. Temperature, salinity, pressure which influences the organism. Certain living organisms cannot live in higher pressure or more deep. According to that, the living beings exist. Now, this is a statistics I have taken from research article. Ocean water consumes oxygen. Whatever is above the surface of the ocean, if you have more carbon dioxide, the ocean will absorb that carbon dioxide, also the oxygen. Can you see this blue line? This is a blue line which is oxygen level in an ocean. The darker line is called carbon dioxide level. You see from January to December, at which time you can have maximum oxygen content in the ocean. At which time period? You see in August, September, you can see high amount of oxygen will be there in the ocean. But if you see the carbon dioxide in ocean, at which time you will be having higher carbon dioxide? January, February, it consists of higher carbon dioxide. Will the ocean will consume the oxygen directly? Means it consumes in DO form. What do you mean by DO form? Is dissolved oxygen. After consuming the direct O2 from H2O, it becomes dissolved oxygen. If you are having an aquarium in your home, you put some fishes inside. What happens? After few days, the fish will die if you are not changing the water. Yes or no? Why you want to constantly change the water? Because the water is H2O, you should have oxygen. If all the dissolved oxygen is exhausted, the fish doesn't have some oxygen to intake. That is why it dies. So you have to constantly change the water, or else what you can do, you can keep a small motor in fish tank. Have you seen? In most of the aquarium you have small motor. What does that motor do? It circulates. When it is circulating, the water takes the oxygen and it dies again. So that constantly you will be having DO. DO is called what? Dissolved oxygen. So higher amount of concentration of oxygen will be there, around 14 milligram per liter is available during the summer time. Oxygen and carbon dioxide is consumed by the ocean, not only by forest. In forest I have told who consumes carbon dioxide? Plants and trees. So if you plant more trees, the carbon dioxide is absorbed. Also, the ocean absorbs carbon dioxide. In what form? In next slide I will discuss. Now you can see, according to the oxygen level from 14 milligram per liter, the different species, biotic components also change. Have you seen clownfishes? Clownfishes are very small. It will be very colorful. You can see in aquarium. It will only live in higher oxygen level. That means 13 to 14 milligram per liter. If you have lesser dissolved oxygen, you can see bass. Different types of species will be there. Tuna fish. These are the fishes. They can live in 5 to 6 milligram per liter of oxygen. And halibut is a type of fish where it can live without oxygen. That means 1 milligram per liter is sufficient for it to sustain its life. So this is one of the example. And biotic components, certain things consume carbon dioxide from the air. Those are called phytoplankton. Producers. Phytoplankton is an organism. It consumes all the carbon dioxide. Have you seen this kind of green color sea anywhere? When most phytoplanktons are occupied in the ocean, what will happen? It will become green in color. Have you seen in lake? Nearby lake you can see algae formation. Like that in sea also it is possible. It consumes directly the carbon dioxide and it emits the oxygen. So this is one of the things. I am not going to dive deep. Why? Because it doesn't cover engineering aspect. Seaweeds. Have you seen this kind of plants? These are called seaweeds. Inside the sea, near the surface zone, you have this kind of plants. They will be the producer. For taking off all the seaweeds, what will happen? The primary consumers will die. So like that you have sea grass. Inside the sea you have sea grass. These are all called autotrophs. Zooplankton which consumes the phytoplankton. See crab, crustaceans are, you can see number of living species and they are primary consumer and secondary consumers will be there. They are large fish, jellyfish, etc. Tertiary consumers are shark, dolphin, whales are the tertiary consumers. So who will decompose? All the components are the bacteria and fungi will decompose all the dead materials. They will recycle. So this is the structure of the biotic component. Have you seen this kind of fish? They primarily depend on the primary consumer. Primary consumers are small fishes. This is called zooplankton. I have told you no. Who eat phytoplankton is zooplankton. This is a small living creature. They consume the producer. So by this the food chain and food web links. Now have you seen this dinoflanges? Dinoflanges are at night in sea you can see this kind of glittering. Have you seen in some movies? Deep inside the sea you see some glittering. What are they is? These are called dinoflanges. This is the food chain and food web. They are producers. They take the energy from the sun. If you see an individual thing, these dinoflanges will be like this. So they take energy from the sun. By this you can see shrimps, etc. as the zooplanktons. From that you have this kind of food chain. Who is the tertiary consumer of the ocean? Is large shark and whales. These are the tertiary consumers. From primary consumer to or quaternary consumers you can see in this food chain. This is how it progress. Now the structure, these are the important things where they can ask MCQ questions. There are different zones in the sea. I have told you epipelagic zone. This is the first zone is called epipelagic. This comes under photic zone where sunlight is mostly there. Most life lives here and you have photosynthesis. Now plants are available in deeper portion of the ocean. They are chemical secreting plants. They don't consume the sunlight directly. By chemical photosynthesis, they create their own food. Now, mesopelagic, this is the zone from 200 meter to 1000 meter. That is the next zone where you have twilight zone. Twilight zones are partial lighting will be there. So, you have limited light and bathypelagic zones are from 1000 to 4000. Dark, cold, deep sea organisms will be there. Here you can see the octopus, etc. Next thing is abiotic. These are 4000 to 6000 near bottom. High pressure will be there. Due to high pressure, certain living beings cannot go deep also. Now the last zone is called hadophyletic zone, more than 6000 feet. So I have discussed in depth wise the structure of ocean in horizontal wise. First layer is called intertidal zone and they are between high to low level tide. In this intertidal zone you have tides. If you cross this tidal zone you don't have tides above continental shelf. This is called continental shelf. I have told you know what do you mean by continental shelf is a vertical deep portion of the ocean where you don't have any living organisms. You will be having a deep ocean and cold icy part. Neritic zone above the continental shelf you have high productivity. This is called neritic. Whatever productivity is there due to the ocean is available in this neritic part of zone. Next thing is called ocean. After neritic you have ocean part. Here you have fully covered with water, less with nutrition. Next thing is benthic, that is ocean floor. This is called, last layer is called benthic, and this is ocean floor. So these are the horizontal lines of the ocean. Functions of ocean. See, I have told you phytoplankton, no? They consume all the carbon dioxide and gives 50% of world's oxygen. We think that, sir, we are planting trees, they give oxygen, but initially before starting the class I have told you, no, forests are only 33% of land, but oceans are 70%. These phytoplankton, they perform photosynthesis and produce over more than 50% of world's oxygen. So that green color I have showed you, no, in the ocean, they produce the oxygen by consuming the carbon dioxide. This is a major species. You can see this species. This is a phytoplankton in the image. Next thing is called nutrition cycle. So what are the function does the ocean do to us is primary role, carbon, nitrogen and phosphorus cycle. These three cycles cannot be done by rest of the ecosystem, but ocean does. What are their role is phosphorus cycle, they do carbon cycle, from where they dig the oil, crude oil they dig. Maximum number of oil is available in ocean. Have you seen offshore platforms? They drive deep into the ocean and they dig the crude oil. That is how the carbons are stored inside the ocean. And 25 to 30% of global CO2 emission is being recycled. So this is one of the advantage or functions of the ocean. Next thing is climate regulation. They regulate the climate. Habitat provisions are, have you seen coral reefs? These are called coral reefs. So in the initial part of the ocean, you can see number of species will be living here, and by this coral reef we get some useful medicines for our purpose. Next thing, have you seen this kind of forest inside the ocean? What are they? Kelp forest. This name is called kelp forest. Inside the ocean you have this kind of forest, and this is called kelp forest. And deep sea vents. Have you seen this kind of vents in any documentary? These vents, what they do is they emit the volcano and they produce new continents. So these are the functions that the ocean does. Now food chain, I have told you, huge diverse organisms are there. Biodiversity reservoir, waste decomposed by microbes and current. Now this image what I have given you, so far I have discussed with you regarding ocean. Now how we impact in ocean is, how we impact the sea is, we use for fisheries. Oceans are the rich portion of protein and they transport and ship goods, tourism, medical resources. Last thing is energy. What energy is being created? Have you heard about wave energy? Nearby the seashore, more number of waves are there. You can use that wave and generate electricity. This is one of the form. Where you have a floating object here, it will move up and down. When moving up and down, you can generate the turbine and you can create the electrical energy. This is one of the form we are utilizing the ocean and creating the resources. Wind turbines, what are they? This kind of turbine will be available in top. They consume the wind and then they generate electricity. This is called wind energy. Also waves, due to that you can create this. So seas will be always pushing the water nearby the tides, yes or no? So when pushing and pulling is happening, this turbine is being run, and due to this turbine you can generate electricity from this. This is one of the form we are generating the energy. Another thing is offshore. This is called offshore platform, where from here they drill, they dig a deep bore and then they drill the crude oil. Crude oil is used for electricity generation, petrol, diesel, all tires are made from the crude oil, etc. So what happens when we consume this parameter from ocean? The oil spills will be there. Generation of oily waste will be there in the ocean, and this segregation and collection will be there, transportation, treatment you have to do, and reprocessing of the crude oil has to be done. So due to this percentage of impact, how much impact we do to the ocean, you see the climate change will happen, marine eutrophication. That green color I have showed you know in the sea, that is called marine eutrophication, human toxicity, etc. These much of impacts are there. And last one, where we spill the oil, what happens during the drilling? There will be operation leak. Can you see this well head? From here only they pump the oils. While pumping this, there will be having a leak. So after the offshore drilling, you have to transfer it to production spills. From here, the small ship will produce and it will store in the oil tanker. So during this transportation also, the carbons are leaked. We destroy the marine ecosystem. So far, you have understood that what are the biotic and abiotic component. What we should not do is non-conventional energy we are generating in the sense from the ocean should be stopped, and what we have to generate conventional energy. I have showed you know wave energy and tidal energy. These things we have to do it in order to reduce the ocean ecosystem. What is epipelatic zone of ocean is called A, B, C, D. C is called sunlight zone. This is the first zone. Yes, you are right. Next thing, which of the following is major producer in the ocean ecosystem? Phytoplankton. Yes. Next one, which abiotic factor decrease rapidly when increasing ocean depth? Too much depth is there, what is happening? Temperature, yes, will decrease. Next thing, in which zone of ocean is completely dark and extends from 1000 to 4000 meter? So I have showed you different structure, no? Bath pelagic. Yes. Next one is the majority of the ocean waste is composed of plastic waste. Yes. Next thing, which group forms the primary consumer in the ocean ecosystem? A or B? B. B, zooplankton consumes the phytoplankton. Yes. Next thing, in hadal-pelagic zone, organisms survive mainly due to there you don't have sunlight. Chemosynthesis. I have told you no. Wherever the sunlight is not there, the plants will generate chemicals, secretion, then they make photosynthesis. Yes. Next thing, ocean contribute how much of Earth's oxygen supply? 50 to 70%. Yes. Next thing, ocean act as global carbon sink because they absorbs carbon dioxide from atmosphere. This is what I have told from a research article. They absorb carbon dioxide also and then they produce oxygen. Next thing, coral reefs and mangroves mainly function as, mangroves are trees nearby the sea. What they do? Coral reefs, natural storm barrier and coastal protection. Whatever resources from the coastal areas, it will not go deep into the sea. It will store. Yes. Next thing is, which economic service is directly provided by ocean ecosystem? Yes. Fisheries and food supply. The ocean regulate earth climate by A, B, C, D. B is distributing solar heat via currents. Next thing, the majority of the nitrogen and carbon recycling in ocean is carried out by decomposers and bacteria. Decomposers do 3 types of cycling. Now, which of the following is not a function of ocean ecosystem? Desert, yes, desertification of land. Up to this is for today's class.